You're listening to Give God 90, where we're not afraid of the tough biblical questions, because we will dig through the language, the culture, and the history to find the truth revealed in the words of our Creator.
I wanna see the light.
Hello, everyone. It is such an honor to have you share part of your day with us. My name is Jerry Mitchell, your host for Give God 90. Sitting in the supervisor's chair is Myra.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
And if you're new here, we hope you really, really like what you hear. If you're interested, you can go to the website, givegod90.com. Check us out there. You'll see some things about some books and all that good stuff. There's some videos on there, too, you might be interested in. Those are free, by the way. If you like what you hear, do us a favor, hit the like button and the share button, turn on the notifications, you know the drill, right? And the comments are open. If you have questions like some of you do, check us out either through the website and get up with us or through one of the, I don't know how many social media platforms we're on now, but a lot of them. So we're there. And, you can send us a question, comment, sometimes smart remarks. Either way, we appreciate your interaction. For a few weeks, I've been talking about who we are as individuals and as a community, as believers, making wise choices. And now we can finally look at what it means when we talk about being made in His image. Now, I get this question in various forms, and not often, but from time to time, people will say, well, how are we made in His image? What does it mean to be made in the image of our Creator? Well, we know that He spoke and made heaven and earth along with everything else, right? And a little side note here, okay? Do you think it's kind of strange that Moses puts in kind of as an afterthought in Genesis 1:16, oh, He made the stars also, right? Genesis 1:16 says, God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the lesser night to rule the night, and He made the stars also. It almost sounds like an afterthought, right? Well, it really isn't. Okay, Moses connects the phrases in a very special way to let us know that the stars were made not only on the same day as the sun and the moon, but who made them, and they are equally as important. Everything was made, the stars were made on that day, and then He stretched them out. So there's some theories going on, oh, the stars are angels, the stars are this, the stars are that. The stars are the stars. It says so right there. Finally, though, on day 6 of creation, He makes man, and He makes mankind in a special way too, in His image. Now, as He forms Adam, or I should say after He forms Adam from the mud, He places in him the ability to form Eve from part of him. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Now, ladies, don't get angry here. And for all the multi-gender people out there, don't get excited, all right? Because what this indicates is that because mankind is made in the image of the Creator, He places in the first man, Adam, the first person, everything that would be necessary to remove a part of him to make Eve. Did you notice how I said that? He takes away part of Adam to make Eve. Doesn't make Adam incomplete without her. What was there was put there on purpose to be removed at a later date. We know this because where does Eve get the breath of life from? Well, she gets it from Adam. In Genesis 2:7, it reads, "The Lord formed man of the dust of the ground." It was actually mud. And breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Now, the soul is not unique to mankind. Animals have a soul. But this breath of life is. Spirit is moving air, but that's not the word Moses uses here. He chooses a different word to indicate that the Creator literally breathed into Adam his breath. He shared with Adam part of his spirit, not the whole spirit of the Creator, not the entire thing, but part. Now, if he'd given Adam this whole spirit, what we consider today the Holy Spirit, what Moses writes earlier in Genesis is a spirit of God, would mankind have free will? No, he wouldn't have any free will. He would not be made in the image of his Creator, but instead he would be more like, and I hate to use this term, but it's what makes sense in modern English, he would be more like little gods or lesser gods. That's not who we are designed to be. But we are designed to be in his image. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, it would have been a really good thing if God would have, put all of his spirit in us, taken away some of that free will so we don't sin. But it's not a good thing. Our Creator actually desires us to choose him, not to be forced into compliance because we're not able to refuse. And if we had that entire spirit, we would have no choice. So he gives us part of it, and he gives us the ability to communicate. He gives us the ability to learn. He gives us the ability to do all of these things. So instead of making us just little or lesser gods, he makes us in his image. And it's probably better understood in today's English definitions that more spiritually than physically. He forms us from the dust or from the mud, or however you want to say that. It's actually soil, I believe is the right word. But then he breathes into us. That is the image we receive. We have the freedom to make choices, just like our Creator made choices. After all, he chose to create. He chose to speak, and he is the one who chooses to love. He's the one who gave the mixed multitude coming out of Egypt multiple attempts to get it right after Moses intervenes. He had planned to destroy that entire group of people, but instead, he put a plague on them to remind them they had violated the covenant that they agreed to, the covenant that was sealed in blood because of the golden calf incident, right? Prior to the mixed multitude leaving Egypt, the sacrifices were voluntary. They were willingly offered. But after the golden calf incident, they were required. That's the plague that's spoken of in Exodus 32:35. So instead of the mind-numbed robots, we're given the choice to either choose our Creator, to follow his instructions, or to fail on our own. whenever we attempt to do things by our own authority, we fall, we fail, we fall way short. Sometimes we may get tricked into thinking we've succeeded. Let's face it, folks, the reality is without our Creator, we are no more than miserable failures. Now, Myra's going to read something that David wrote, that he has something very important to say about how we're made in Psalm 139, verses 1 through 16.
Lord, you have examined me. You know all about me. You know when I sit down and when I get up. You know my thoughts before I think them. You know where I go and where I lie down. You know well everything I do. Lord, even before I say a word, you already know what I'm going to say. You are all around me, in front and in back. You have put your hand on me. Your knowledge is amazing to me. It is more than I can understand. Where can I go to get away from your spirit? Where can I run from you? If I go up to the skies, you are there. If I lie down where the dead are, you are there. If I rise with the sun in the east and settle in the west beyond the sea, even where you would guide me, with your right hand you would hold me. I could say, the darkness will hide me. The light around me will turn into night. But even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is as light as the day. The darkness and the light are the same to you. You made my whole being. You formed me in my mother's body. I praise you because you made me in an amazing and wonderful way. What you have done is wonderful. I know this very well. You saw my bones being formed as I took shape in my mother's body, and when I was put together there. You saw my body as it was formed. All the days planned for me were written in your book before I was 1 day old.
David begins by saying the Creator knows everything about him. He knows everything he does. There's absolutely no place he can go where he is hidden from the one who made him. Now, verse 16 almost sounds as though we don't have a choice, right? But David's writing here may be where Jeremiah gets what is all too well known now as, well, it's become kind of a misused verse. And I'm going to say this because, in my opinion, the NIV mischaracterizes this with its poor translation. The NIV says, I know the plans I have for you, right? But that's not what it says. The original is, I know the thoughts I think toward you. There's a difference there. The Creator has in his spirit the thoughts of what he would like us to do, but he gives us free choice. We can reject those thoughts. Not a wise idea. We need to make better choices if we reject those thoughts, but we can. We have that opportunity. When Jeremiah wrote what he wrote, he probably was remembering what David said. And plans, even in this particular translation from the International Children's Bible, could have been better. It just makes it easier for kids to understand, for little people to understand. So that's probably why they chose that word. But there are actually better words. So I'll let you go look that one up on your own. David writes that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Well, literally what it means is we are made to respect our Creator, the fearful part, and we are separated, distinct beings, unlike any others, either on earth or in heaven. We're different because we are made in his image. Mankind is made in the image of its creator. We're not like the divine beings, what some people today would call angels. We're not like the animals. We're not like anything else. We are unique. We have the ability to communicate on a level that the animals don't have. We have the ability, and I want you to think about this, we have the ability to do things that even some of the divine beings can't do. Now, there is a thought that you probably never had before. Don't have time to get into what those things are today. I know I'm going to be running late. But back to the question, what does it mean to be made in the image of our Creator? It means we are created for a purpose. We are actually designed to live out the ideas that He has for us. He doesn't make us mind-numbed robots and pre-program us to go do anything. He says, you know what? I'm going to make Jeremiah a prophet, and I would really like it if he would accept this job and go on with it. Now, I don't know what, I don't know what job he has for you, but that was his plans, his idea, the reason he designed Jeremiah. Why did he design you? Well, that part of your job is to figure that out. Now, I often use this example. When a craftsman builds a table, think of it as being the most beautiful, fabulous. What are some other really, really, really great adjectives you can describe? To talk about how perfect a table might be. Well, however that comes out, it's perfect. It's absolutely the most wonderful thing ever made by a craftsman. Then now think about this. The table knows it's a table. The table realizes it is a really, really good table. Like the best ever, right? What if somebody walks by and lays a book on that table? Does the table now think, oh, I'm a bookshelf? Well, of course not. It's still a table. It knows it's a table. Now, if the table were able to think, okay, if the table were actually able to think, would it think to itself, I was a really fantastic table, but now I'm the greatest bookshelf ever? Well, that's what happens when we go our own way. That's what happens to us when we live a way that we are not designed to live. That's what happens to us when we choose to reject the Almighty and, act out on our own. We are no longer who we should be. We are rejecting His very Spirit that He puts in us. We're made in His image, and we're made to make some wise choices. We are given the freedom to do as much good for each other as we can possibly do. We're given the freedom to do as much good in the name of our Creator as we can possibly do. We are not given the freedom to do good and claim it for ourselves. Do I need to say that part again? We're not given the freedom to do it for ourselves, because that is putting yourself above your Creator. We're actually designed to reject evil, but some of us still choose to reject our Creator for evil. Solomon actually has something to say about this. He tells us the purpose of mankind at the end of Ecclesiastes. Myra's going to start in verse 9.
The teacher was very wise. He taught the people what he knew. The teacher very carefully thought about, studied, and set in order many wise teachings. The teacher looked for just the right words. He wrote teachings that are dependable and true. Words from wise men are like sharp sticks used to guide animals. These words are like nails that have been driven in firmly. They are wise teachings that come from God the shepherd. So be careful, my son, about other teachings. People are always writing books, and too much study will make you very tired. Now everything has been heard. Here is my final advice. Honor God and obey His commands. This is the most important thing people can do. God knows everything people do, even the things done in secret. He knows all the good and all the bad. He will judge everything people do.
So, honor the Creator and obey His commands is the most important thing people can do. We're made in His image. Now, today we have some technology. We can think about a 3D printer. You know, the printed object is not the original. It may look like it, might even work like it, but it can never be exactly like the original. You can't take a full-size car, full-size vehicle, and 3D print it. You can print some of the components, but they're not going to be made out of the same substance. It may be made in the image of the original, but it's not the original. We're made in the image of our Creator. Do we look like Him? I don't know, maybe. I hope not. I hope He's a whole lot better looking than I am. Do we work like Him? We're told that we should be able to, right? Now, there have been some of the Creator's representatives throughout history, many of them mentioned in the Bible, and they were able to do some seemingly miraculous things, right? Moses, did some miraculous things. Elijah brought people back from the dead. Jonah caused an entire nation to repent. Joseph saved the entire nation of Egypt. And that list goes on and on. Not all of them were prophets, but all of them represented the Creator to the people around them. Joseph did it when he was in jail, right? But how'd they do it? How were they able to accomplish the things they accomplished? By honoring the Creator and obeying His commands. When Jesus was alive, He taught His disciples how to do these things. And it began with the same advice. Honor your Creator. Don't worry about what the Pharisees and the Sadducees say. Just do what Moses wrote, right? That was his advice. It's what eventually got him killed. Honor God, obey His commands. And the religious and political leaders absolutely hated them for it. But why? If you have a bunch of people running around doing good things, why would you want to stop them? Because the religious leaders realized that the people understood what they were doing. It was only by obedience to the Creator, not obedience to the political or religious leaders. It was the authority of the Creator who was given to these people so that they could heal them, they could help them, and they could comfort them. And that's absolutely true today as well. Right? What happens today? When you have people in a place and they're doing good, the political and the religious leaders hate them. And they hate them because they realize they don't need the government to intervene. The general population of believers don't need, and I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but the general population of believers don't need to rely on the pastor to pray. They can pray for themselves. They can do things for themselves. They've been given the authority, and all they have to do is honor God and obey his commands. We are made in his image, and we have the ability to do what we need to do. And when we use that ability to benefit the people around us, some people are going to love us, and some people are going to hate us. But it doesn't matter. The only one we need to worry about pleasing, the only one we need to worry about worshiping, is the Creator. And he knows what's in our hearts. He knows if we're doing it for him or for us. He knows why we're doing it, and we can't hide that, not from him. He knows if we're really his representative to the people around us, or if we're simply using him to make a name for ourselves. We are made in his image to honor him, to represent him to the people who may not know him, to the people who think they know him, and even to the people who misrepresent him. And all we need to do that is live the way we're designed to live, according to his word, the way it's written. We look around today and see problems of all kinds. But those problems are part of who we've become, not who we're designed to be. And it doesn't matter whether we talk about the sinful communities. It doesn't matter whether we talk about the worship communities, because they all have issues. Are we going to get it right? Probably not. But when it boils down to doing what Solomon said, when it comes down to simply honoring God and doing the things he tells us to do, not the things that somebody like me or you tell somebody else to do, but when we actually follow the example of Yeshua, follow the example of Jesus, and he said, when faced with evil, it is written. And he goes back and he finds the place it's written, and he did what Moses said to do. That's how you defeat evil. That's what it means to be made in that spiritual image, because the flesh, oh yeah, it's weak. We were talking to somebody yesterday who started a new job, and he says, oh yeah, the flesh is very weak. He's a little older, and the job's a little physical. So the flesh was very weak, right? But being spiritual, in the spiritual image, making the right choices, having the opportunity not to do something for yourself, but taking that opportunity to do it for your Creator, that's what sets us apart. That's what makes us different. That's what makes us unique. So we are made in his image. But we have the freedom to choose. And I hope you will choose to do the plans or the ideas, the concepts that you were designed to do without going out on your own. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that today?
Thank you for joining us today, and I hope you have a blessed week.
Absolutely. We will be back Thursday. And until then, many, many blessings, everyone.